Thanks for joining us once again. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Today's focus is our weekly show on the Teslasemi. In particular, we're going to be reviewing the videos that are showing up right now, showing the Tesla passing a lot of other trucks on the uphill side. And then the video that they're not showing that's more important, the uphill side, is actually the downhill video. And then we also look at an issue that's been lurking for quite a while, which is there enough power to power up the Teslasemi? And we look forward to reviewing this. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Thanks once again for joining us. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're a repeat visitor, welcome back. We also want to thank our Patreon supporters. If you enjoy the show, would like some ideas on better investing and trading, as well as sort of more information not available on the main channel, please join us. So today I wanted to concentrate obviously on the Semi. That's our weekly show. I keep scanning it to see when we have new information or we pick up other information that might have come up for the week that we can put into the show. And obviously we've decided to go with two this week. Number one, the Hill video that's currently out there on the Teslasemi, as well as the power question mark. So first, the Hill video. Now, widely available is an image of the Teslasemi out climbing trucks that were trying to get up steep grades. Now, I don't know if you've driven a Semi, but these babies do something called heel and toe while double clutching. So in essence, the vehicle will get to a certain speed. They'll use the clutch to use up all the speed for that gear and then keep doing that until you use all the gears for that truck. And that would be at fairly high speed, one would think. In this case, we just had the Teslasemi climbing a hill and was able to simply go around and climb beyond what other 18-wheelers were doing. The grade was no problem, and the truck easily handled that grade. Now, I was intrigued because we've seen this happening a lot over the last several years as the vehicle has been produced. And I kind of felt like it was no big deal, so I initially saw it and I was like, wow, it's amazing the number of news entities that have picked it up. But guess what? The Tesla Semi can climb. And because it always has the power and doesn't have to cycle through gears, its climbing abilities is a lot more efficient than what's going on with a regular semi-truck. Now, I do think what's interesting in this spot is that the video climbing the hill was shown, but none of the video going downhill was shown. And I think that's actually a lot bigger, because you'll notice that there are no sort of runaway truck lanes for vehicles going uphill. They're only there for the vehicles going downhill. And this is where the Teslasemi really excels. The fact that as the vehicle is coming down, it's actually being slowed as well as recharging the battery partially because of the energy generated with the vehicle going downhill. So one of the contentions I had made was that I really think that one of the best ways to use an electric Semi, Tesla or others, is actually in very difficult climbing situations that trucks get into over major passes across the United States. Why not simply place a couple of electric Semis on either side of that pass and then allow trucks to stop there, switch to electric, power over the hill, and then down the backside of that hill. And now you have all those trucks that aren't going to have brakes that start smoking or have to go on the runaway lane after their brakes go out, etc. I think this could actually save a huge amount of money, particularly for big entities, like Schneider or FedEx or even UPS or all these guys that have a lot of trucks. They're going to go up and down the side of the mountain, and it's still within the same company. So I think this is actually an excellent example of how one might put to work the Teslasemi and other electric vehicles as we go forward. Now, We did not see that video on the other side, but we do know about regenerative braking, how that works, why that works, and the fact that it's an excellent use of the capability of that vehicle. So next, we'd like to move on to sort of the back end of our discussion, which is 99 problems and power ain't one. So I've been collecting anecdotes from different people, and one sort of area to think about is we have something called the Tennessee Valley Authority, which is a giant electric producer that operates in the southeast of the United States, but they're attached to several different utilities. So while on a plane with a lady who was an executive at Southern Company, I said to her, you know, a lot of people are worried about the semi and whether or not the power it could deliver and the power draw that it represents could really be bad news for the country because there's just not enough power to fuel those vehicles. And I was very surprised with her response. This conversation happened maybe 3 years ago, and she said, well, that kind of would make sense, but what actually is really going on is we've got too much electricity. And I looked at her and I was like, too much electricity? And she was like, so the answer to that too much electricity question is that the utilities across the United States, especially in this case the Tennessee Valley Authority, have a process they do where they forecast population size and demand for electricity over time. What she indicated is in 2008, with kind of the market crash and issues that popped up there, they were cycling in more electricity than was needed. And so now they ended up in a position where they had too much electricity relative to demand. So therefore, they are able to work with forecasts and keep building the amount of electricity to meet expected usage. So I was intrigued because I thought that some of the naysayers that were questioning the viability of a Tesla would be Tesla and others growing into the space, even into the semi-space. It wasn't going to happen. And the answer I got was other than that. Another aspect to this whole energy thing that I've been fascinated by throughout the last 5 years is it was explained by the Southern Company folks that there is a bartering system for electricity. So, for example, I actually think this is going to happen, which is that Walmart is going to decide to build a production facility for electricity in a very sunny southern U.S. place. That facility will then produce electricity and load it up onto the grid, and then Walmart can then work with that utility or others to simply exchange power, where you're producing power in one place, you dump that power onto the grid, and then you pull down the power you need to use wherever you are, or in a geographic area or not in that geographic area. The point is you've put that power onto the grid for use by other customers, so therefore you now get to use that power elsewhere. I recently had a really interesting conversation. There's an LA-based company, and so what happened was I was talking with an executive from a power production company that's based in LA. And I said to her, oh, well, Tesla is very well prepared for things like the semi, et cetera. And they have mega chargers that can go ahead and pull power down from the grid and have it ready for the trucks when they arrive at the truck stop. So her question to me was, well, that's a great idea, but what happens if there's no high power lines near the truck stop where those trucks are? And so I was like, that is a very, very good point. And so what she highlighted is the fact that what they make is 5 kWh generators that can be placed in these locations and run on diesel or electricity, or other fuels. that allow you to produce the electricity you need and then have it there and available for those trucks or whatever is going to be using them. So I thought this was another example of how there are solutions to the mystery of, is there enough electricity to power up not only Tesla but other electric vehicles as we start building more electric vehicles of all type and putting them on the grid. So the answer when it comes to the Semi is A, there's enough power there for the places that it's installed currently, and then B, there's a sort of a buffet menu worth of ways in which the Tesla Semi can and will be powered up by off-the-grid electricity, electricity generated on site, et cetera, et cetera. But the answer is that because they got plenty of money, there's plenty of solutions for the electricity shortage potential that the Tesla Semi might generate. So, as usual, we look forward to your comments on both topics today relative to the Semi. We also want to encourage you from our health tips again. I just did my 25 leg lifts and my 20-minute walk. Don't forget your 20-minute walk daily, as well as 25 leg lifts per leg, preferably with a 5-pound weight. Also wanted to encourage you to consider the rest of our list. Our basic list is to make sure you're maintaining a sleep schedule over a couple of weeks that's consistent to help with your rest situation. Also wanted to note our last show, we were reviewing the fact that like 70% of the doctors we've interviewed do some sort of fasting. I think the simplest one is to keep your eating on half of the 12-hour clock on a daily basis as a way to give your body a break on the other half, or some suggestions that come to mind. Again, if you're a health professional, you'd like to throw in ideas of things we should add to our list, we'd love to do it and share that with other folks as well. So at any rate, this ends our show focus of the Semi this week. Thanks again for joining us. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Juste au revoir, le hitro, hoda hepes, trazice, ni hao ma, konbanwa, hey do, namaste, arrivederci. And in Jamaica, we say enough respect, walk good man. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, and bye for now.